What's going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with my Browns Jaguars Week 2 game recap as the Browns went into TrEverBank Field. Yeah, that's right. The Jaguars renamed EverBank Field to TrEverBank Field for the home opener to honor their quarterback who's only won one playoff game in his career. And other than that, he really hasn't done much because I get it. You're trying to build up hype for the team, get everyone excited. But Browns go into TrEverBank Field and they escaped by the hairs on their ass as they took down the Jaguars today by a final score of 18-13, and they improved to 1-1 on the season. And man, this is one of those games that, yeah, you won, but my God, it feels like a loss. My God, dude. It's almost like they flipped from last week, right? Because last week they were ass in the first half and they actually looked good in the second half. Well, this week they looked great in the first half. They were moving the ball on offense. Defense was pretty good, right? And then second half, completely different thing. Completely different. Offense couldn't move the damn ball to save their lives, and the defense was giving up big plays. All that matters, though, is we won. We can look back at this game and think, yeah, we played like ass, but in the end, it's a W. That's all that matters, right? You're not 0-2. Because I swear to God, if they would have lost this game, oh my. Brown's Twitter would have been Chernobyl levels of radioactive. Like, you would not have been able to go on Twitter the entire week. That's how toxic it would have been. But thank God they got the win. And to make things even better, the Indians won. Oh, and the Ravens lost, as did the Twins and Kansas City. So far, it's been a phenomenal day for us Clevelanders. And all we need is a Bungles and Steelers loss. And yeah, makes it even better, right? That would complete my weekend right there. Now, overall, Deshaun Watson looked way better than he did last week. You could tell he was digging in the film. He went back in the lab and he worked on some things. As he went 22 of 34 for 186 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and he did get sacked twice. On the ground, Jerome Ford, 7 carries, 64 yards, and believe it or not, Mr. Sideline the sideline was actually running straight ahead. He actually had some pretty big runs, too. The biggest one, of course, was on that fourth down, right? The Jags were expecting another, little tush push from Jameis. Well, instead, they handed it off to Jerome Ford, who went around the edge for a massive gain. Deontay Foreman actually got in the game today. And what do you know? He produced 14 carries, 42 yards. Deshaun Watson, 5 carries, 20 yards, and a touchdown. The only touchdown we'd score today. Jameis Winston, of course, 2 for 4. Yeah, whatever. Mostly on, tush pushes, QB sneaks. Pierre Strong had only 1 carry for -5 yards. He would actually get hurt in this game. Hopefully he's all right. I think it's a hamstring, so he'll probably miss a couple games with how those go. Through the air, 22 total receptions, 186 yards for the Browns, led by Jerry Jeudy, who had 5 receptions and 73 yards on the second to last drive for the Browns. I would say the one that was laden with penalties, but almost every drive in this game was laden with penalties for the Browns. Well, there was one drive at the end of the game where the offense really was struggling, right? Jerry Jeudy made some big time plays, right? Making some big time catches to keep the drive going. And then flag, 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 flag. There was one drive, 4 straight penalties. There was 2 on us, and then 2 on the defense. Now, the most popular penalty on the Browns lately has been holding. Seems like Mr. Dickerson, Mr. Jonah Hill looking mother trucker, isn't teaching these guys how to block without holding. Right? You could definitely tell Bill Callahan's gone. That's for sure. Offensive line has struggled mightily so far. Luckily, Deshaun Watson can actually move around a little bit. If we had a statue back there, oh my God, imagine how many sacks we would have given up. Huh. Sheesh. Elijah Moore had 6 receptions, 44 yards. Good to see him contributing a little bit. David Bell, before he got hurt with a hip injury, 3 receptions, 27 yards. Amari Cooper, not a great start of the year for him. 3 receptions, 11 yards. He had 8 targets. There was one where he was wide open. Ball goes right through his hands. I'm like, what's up with him, dude? He's usually one to make those catches. What's up with that? I think it has something to do with his chemistry with Deshaun, because, again, he hadn't caught a ball from Deshaun in almost a year, since November when Deshaun got hurt. And, of course, they didn't play in the preseason, so yeah, that's why preseason might be low key important for the starters, so they could get that chemistry going again, especially after it being almost a year since they, saw each other on the field. Other than Amari, I mean, nobody else really did much. Jordan Akins had a catch for 10 yards. Pierre Strong, 1 for 10 yards. Deontay Foreman, 1 catch for 9 yards. Cedric Tillman had 1 for 2 yards. Yeah, whatever. Now, defensively, 4 sacks from 4 different players. Jordan Hicks, Myles Garrett, of course, and of course it was a sack fumble that we couldn't recover. Yep, that's another thing I'll get into in a minute. Lack of turnovers. Alex Wright, fresh off a coffin corner punt by Corey Bojorquez, sacks Trevor Lawrence in the end zone for a key safety that got us our 17th and 18th points that essentially put the game almost out of reach, because it made it to where they had to score a touchdown to win the game, right? Like, that made a field goal useless to the Jaguars, which was huge, especially with how the game ended, right? And then Quentin Jefferson got a sack, so good stuff, right? Jordan Hicks, Myles Garrett, Alex Wright, Quentin Jefferson all getting sacks today. Great stuff from the defense. And then, of course, Justin Hopkins was his usual self. 3 for 3 on field goals. Only had 1 extra point, which he nailed easily. Good stuff. Another key thing was, right? The Jags missed a field goal. They doinked it. That's tough. That's tough. The Jags derped so hard at times in this game. Like, at the end, it was almost like they were giving us the game. And we just wouldn't take it. Like, damn, take it from them. Give it to you. Take it from them. No. Is it really that hard? Change. As far as how Trevor Lawrence did, I mean, the dude wasn't doing a damn thing in the first half. But then he woke up in the second half. 14 of 30, 220 yards. No touchdowns or picks. Got sacked 4 times, like I said. The Jags had 21 carries, 127 yards, and a touchdown, mostly from ETN. 13 carries, 52 yards for him with a touchdown. I mean, Trevor Lawrence had 2 for 45. Dearness Johnson, 5 for 26. Nothing much there. Through the air, Brian Thomas Jr., 2 receptions, 94 yards, including a massive catch deep in our territory on Greg Newsome, a.k.a. Mr. Dance Party, because that dude just loves to dance on the field. Doesn't really do much besides dance. It's like, man, dude, if you put as much effort into, locking down your guy than you do dancing, maybe you'd actually be an amazing corner. But honestly, he's not really that great. He has 1 pick 6 last year? That's really all he's done. Now, MJ and Denzel, they're pulling their weight. They're doing their thing. Greg, not really holding up his end of the bargain, right? Yeah. The overall 14 receptions, 220 yards for Jags receivers. Not great, especially because the Jags actually lost Evan Ingram to an injury during warmups. So that was one less weapon for them to use. And then, we only allowed 2 sacks. So despite all the penalties, we only allowed 2 sacks. One was a coverage sack, and the other one was on Foyesade Oluokun. Sounds like a freaking Street Fighter move. Oh my god. Man, I love it. You love to see it, but hey, Browns win. That's all that matters, right? Doesn't matter how you do it, just win, right? Now, looking at my post game observations, number one, Deshaun Watson is still really good, like he showed in the first half. He's still that dude. We just have to unlock it for a full 4 quarters. Number two, Kevin Stefanski took back the wheel. It's pretty clear, based off of the play calling and what they were doing, that Kevin Stefanski is back calling plays. I did not see Ken Dorsey at all on the sidelines. And I saw Kevin with the play sheet, which tells me he's calling plays. Yep. And of course, we had to see the Stefanski special this week, and it did nothing. Of course. When has it done something? I'm being real honest. When has it done something? Not too often. And then number three, stop with the freaking penalties. My God. Do I even want to see how many penalties we committed in this game? 13. 13 penalties for 100 yards. On the other side, the Jags committed 6 for 52. And a third of those, 2 of them, were on the same drive. Roughing the passer and a pass interference. I know it's a win, but this definitely feels like it could have easily been a loss. The older Browns teams, right, would have definitely lost this game somehow. And it would have been heartbreaking with how we played in the first half. Right? Thank God we were able to pull it out. I know that plane ride's going to be fun back home. But man, they get back in the lab. I'd hate to see that tape. Oh my God. If I'm Jim Schwartz, I am reaming this team through the coals because what the heck was this defense at the end? I'm not going to go too hard, mainly. It's just mainly coverage, right? They did their best. But my God, penalties. Jeez, man. Every play. Flag, flag, flag. They got to work on that stuff. Saw last week, right? 11 penalties, and we're like, we could do better. 17. Can't have that. Like, you don't really win games with that many penalties. And how many of those penalties were drive killers? Mostly, like, most of them. Yeah. Of the 13, I bet you a vast majority, maybe like 9 of them, possibly more. I don't know. The ones that were on offense were all drive killers, pretty much. There wasn't too many on the defense, mostly on offense. And they were mostly holding. God, if you guys haven't realized already, I've almost lost a voice. Screaming so damn loud. Damn. I don't think I've ever got that heated. But that's what this team makes me do. God, they gotta make everything so damn difficult. The Jags were pretty much handing you the game, and we were like, no, we don't really want it. But then at the end, we're like, fine, we'll take it. That's what it was like. Damn. As far as my game MVP goes, I am actually giving it to two people. And they're on the same unit. Dustin Hopkins and Corey Bojorquez. Because without those two, we lose this game, most likely. Dustin Hopkins hit some clutch field goals, right? Especially when the drive stalled out in the early part of the game, right? And then Corey Bojorquez with the coffin corner punt late in the game that would result in the sack in the end zone. That gave us the huge 2 extra points to essentially make field goals worthless. They had to score a touchdown to beat us, and the defense did just enough to win the game. So if we would have lost this game, the vibes overall in the fan base and in that facility, oh, they would have been in the crapper. And now, looking ahead, we got Danny Derps and the Giants coming to town, and they lost to the Commanders, 21-18. So need the defense to lock back in and go out there and make life hell for Danny Derps, right? And maybe next week we can actually force a couple turnovers, because once again, how many turnovers did we almost have in this game? We legit should have had that fumble recovery on the kickoff, but for some reason they had a rule now where the kicker can't go past the 50 before the ball is touched or whatever on the kickoff. I don't even think anybody even knew that existed, but now we know. There was a couple of interceptions that were dropped as usual. MJ would have had the dopest interception I've ever seen. All pops out incomplete. One of these days, we're going to get an interception, and I'm going to be excited. These guys might need to change their gloves or something. I swear to God. The drops on offense, the dropped interceptions on defense. Jeez, dude. I swear, our hands are for decoration. They don't have hands. No, they're just little nubs. Like, is that ball greased up or something? Damn. It's raining grease. Did they grease up that ball? Huh? Where'd they get that ball from? Huh? Why is the ball wet? You have gloves. Aren't they supposed to be sticky? Clearly they're not. Because if they were, we'd have had like a couple picks today. Eventually, we're going to get an interception. Yeah. So, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Damn near going 20 minutes. Gotta love it. I always usually tell myself, don't have these videos go longer than like 10, 15 minutes. Well, 20 minutes. So, yay. Had a lot to say, though. But yeah, shout out to all the Jaguars fans that watch my stuff that I'm friends with on here. UCF Jaguar, jagging off. Any other Jags fans out there? I know there was quite a few of them out there on YouTube that weren't really giving us any respect. They saw what we did last week and thought, oh, this team's ass. This is an easy dub. Wonder what they're saying now. I mean, we're not ass. We're just derping around. That's all. Wow. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for a little Victory Monday. I know I planned on doing the Guardians game. Most likely I won't be doing that game. Depends on how my voice is, how I'm feeling. I know the Guardians play at 6, though, so I might do it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. I'll definitely have an update. Much. If you see the thumbnail go up, then I'm doing the game. If not, then I'm not doing it. So, with that being said, guys, I'm Crazy Dog. Browns are 1-1. Victory Monday tomorrow. Be there or be square. And I'm gonna give me something to eat for dinner. That's my voice. Go Browns. I'm Crazy Dog. And I'm out. Bye-bye. Yeah.